What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another Reddit video here on the Life Stories channel. My name is Dylan, and today we're going to be looking at some stories from the subreddit I Don't Work Here Lady. So sit back, relax and enjoy the show. Karen messes with an almost United States Military Academy cadet? Big mistake. Cast. Hero, our humble hero. Me, Karen. Entitled shopper determined to ruin hero's night. Agnes, sweet little old lady. I've been working at a theme park for the last 5 years, and whilst I love my job and co-workers, I'll be the first to admit that the job has its stresses and a fair share of Karen/Kyles. Last night I'd just got off what was almost an 11-hour shift and was exhausted. As my pantry/fridge/cat's food bowl was empty, I decided to go grocery shopping at the store where my younger brother used to work and was friends with most of the people there. It was an hour or two closing and the store was almost deserted. Pure bliss for me because I didn't want to have to fight the snowbirds for what I wanted. I took my time and was wandering around the frozen food aisle when I heard a sweet little voice ask me from behind. "Excuse me, dear, but can you reach the frozen chicken pot pie up there for me?" I turn around and see a little old grandma sitting in an electronic shopping cart and looking at me with wide eyes. Maybe it's because of the 5 years I've worked without much thanks, but I love it whenever someone asks me politely for something. I'm willing to go well out of my way to help them. Despite being exhausted and sick of being treated badly, I said with a wide smile, "Of course, ma'am," and reached up for the chicken pot pie. "This one?" "Oh yes, thank you," she said as I put it in her basket. I noticed that she had a list in her hand and an almost empty basket. "Would you like getting some help on anything else on your list?" I said, feeling my bad mood dissipating faster than chalk on a wet sidewalk. "Oh, that's so kind of you, and I'd appreciate it," she said. "Your mama must be very proud of you." I laughed and said, "She raised me right." So for the next 20 minutes or so, I walked with her and helped her get on with her list. As we walked, we got to know each other. I learnt her name was Agnes, and she had 3 children, 6 grandchildren, and her first great-grandbaby was on the way. By the time she got to the end of our list, it's safe to say we became good friends. I left her at the registers knowing that the employees at this grocery store would help her get them to the car. Agnes smiled at me and thanked me once again. Now feeling much better, I decided to make my way to the deli for the best chicken salad. I do love me a good chicken salad sandwich. Whilst I looked over the packaged salad to see which one had the most raisins/craisins in, I heard it. A cleared throat. The war call of the wild Karen. Not wanting her to destroy my good mood, I turned to look and was face to face with the Kate Gosselin haircut, plastic surgery addicted trophy wife body, business intimidation outfit and Cole Cersei Lannister eyes. I smiled at her. "May I help you?" "Yes, finally," she said with an exasperated sigh and shoved the list into my face. "I need you to get me apples, milk and..." I cut her off mid-sentence, confused. I don't know how you mistook me for being an employee here," I said, gesturing to my uniform. "Blue shorts, button-up shirt and lack of name tag and apron, but I can point you in the right direction." This did not satisfy the wild beast known as Karen. She stomped her Louis Vuitton black heels like a bull pawing the earth. "You helped that little old lady, what makes her different?" At this point, my temper was flaring, but I was trying to keep her from destroying the good mood I had from helping Agnes. "Maybe it's because she used manners and asked nicely for help," I said in a sweet and innocent tone. I swear I saw Karen's eyes narrow and she tried to draw herself to my height. Laughable, because she had to be at least 5 feet and 2 inches and I'm almost 6 foot. She was standing on her tiptoes, wobbling as she did so. And then she did it. She poked me square in the chest. What Karen did not know about me is when I was in high school I was considered for an appointment at the United States Military Academy, West Point. Thanks to a heart murmur and other health issues, I decided not to seek said appointment. However, I've carried that distinct honour with no small amount of pride and have always tried to carry myself as such. Even my managers know that and respect me for it. You do not mess with me or someone I've taken under my wing, especially when I'm in a bad mood. I grabbed Karen's wrist with the speed of a striking rattlesnake and gripped it hard enough to keep her from wriggling. I stared her down and spoke in a low voice, becoming the army officer that I might have been. Mom, we can do this one of two ways. One, you leave me alone and continue shopping the rest of the night, or I will call the police and press charges. Is that clear? Karen went from outraged bull to meek little calf. She nodded. Have a good night, I said, and let her go to continue my shopping. 10 minutes or so later, I had finished my shopping and was pushing my cart over to my car when I saw Karen slink by with an almost empty cart. We made eye contact. I waved nicely at her. I did not know that you could run so fast in heels before. One thing I've never really understood about most of these supermarket stories is that the people that are abusing the supermarket employees expect the employees to just run around and do it for them. It just seems strange to me. Two sides of the same coin. I just got an off a 16-hour day working at an event. I stumbled into a grocery store on the way home to grab dinner. I got lucky and snagged one of the last carts to lean on whilst I shopped. I had just laid hands on the cart when a woman power walked past me, smoothly swiping the cart from my hands with a cheery thank you. I spluttered out a confused, "You're welcome," and just stood there too tired to walk back to the cart corral outside. A nice fellow with his own cart walked up to me staring after the woman. "Wow, that was really rude," he said, and nicely offered me his card. I greatly accepted it and got on with my day, though I kept mulling over how weird the whole thing was. It was several hours later, when I changed into my pyjamas, that I finally figured it out. I was wearing a bright coloured t-shirt that had said staff blazed across the back in huge letters and a tiny logo on the front. So from the woman's perspective, she took a cart from a grocery store employee, bringing them back from the parking lot. From the guy's perspective, he did a nice thing for a confused and tired stranger. And from my perspective, the whole thing's just kind of funny. I think that's quite a nice way of looking at things. I probably wouldn't have been as nice as him in that situation. Sleeping in my car? Must be an Uber. So the past 2 years I've been a technician for a festival in my city. During the setup I sometimes find myself with an hour or two of downtime, and sometimes chill in my car whilst I wait. This event took place around 3 AM, where I found myself taking a nap in my newish Camaro, waiting till I could get back to work. I was woken up when I heard a knock on my window and a dude trying to jump into my car. I rolled down the window and this was the exchange. Me, what's up? Guy, is this the Uber for Shane? Me, still half asleep. What? No, I'm not an Uber. Guy, can you just drive me to location that's an hour round trip? I'm too drunk. Me, no. And I roll the window up. The guy then stumbles a few feet, sits on a rock and nods off. Not wanting to deal with this guy, I got back to my site about 30 feet away and hang out in the lawn chair until I can go back to work. Every few minutes the dude would wake me up and knock on my car window, for a bit not realising that I'm not inside anymore. This went on for about an hour and a half before he finally got up and vanished behind a building. I mean, the geezer sounds absolutely wasted. It's probably a good thing that he was going for an Uber and not trying to drive himself. Went to have lunch with my boyfriend over his break. We ate at the back room and finished up and walked out of the back room into the store, and that's when Karen spotted me. My boyfriend was wearing the uniform of the store, solid coloured shirt with name tag and solid coloured pants. I was wearing a polka dotted cardigan, denim skirt, no name tag, zebra print Converse and jewellery. He works in a department store and made a beeline for his department, which is mostly outdoors. I decided to stick around to buy some windshield wiper fluid, so was walking towards that aisle and Karen flagged me down. Karen, excuse me, hey hi, I'm in a rush babe, so... Me, hi, actually Karen, need to buy a desk fan and... Me, oh actually, Karen, I'm not finished. Me, but... Karen, a desk fan and bath towels, the soft kind, not the cheap ones. Do you have laminating sheets? Actually, never mind, I need a... Me. Mum, listen. Karen. A mesh basket, staple refillers, are there different sizes? Anyways, I need the medium size, I guess. Are you listening? I'm in a huge rush, and... So I finally just started walking away. It's at this point that Karen grabs my shoulder. I don't react well to being touched by strangers. Me. What are you doing? Karen. I'm on a time crunch, babe. Why are you being so impatient? I mean, really, you're at work, honey. It's like no one respects people older than them these days. I just can't believe. Me. I don't work here. Do I look like I work here? Karen looks at me and realizes her mistake and becomes visibly embarrassed. I'm finally calming down from having been grabbed by a stranger. Karen. But you came out of an employee-only door. Me. I was visiting my boyfriend for lunch. Even if I worked here, you just don't touch someone. Karen. So you really don't work here? Me. No. Karen. So can your boyfriend help me? Me. No, he works in gardening. Karen stops to think for a moment. I guess she had a system error when she couldn't ask for my manager, seeming as I didn't work there. She was looking extra embarrassed now and dramatically shielding her face like there were paparazzi covering her important life. Karen. Well, you probably know the store if your boyfriend works here. Could you just help me find my things? That would be the nice thing after causing this inconvenience when I told you I'm in a hurry. Me. Why would I help you after you grabbed me like a street thug? Are you insane? We're done. I turn to go, still shaken up. She calls after me. Karen. You can't blame me for thinking you work here when you came out of an employee-only door. I'm gonna report your boyfriend to the garden manager for having you back there. Me. This girl. I stopped myself before I flew onto a full-on rage. Karen. Excusez-moi? I stopped walking away at this point because I didn't actually know whether my boyfriend was technically allowed to have me back there or eat lunch back there, and I didn't want to get him in trouble. But I also couldn't bring myself to help this woman after all of that. Me. Fine, I'll help you. Just make it quick. I snatched her list from her, and sure enough, I knew where about half of the things were, which made it all that much easier to strategically avoid those aisles as I dragged Karen on a time-sucking trek around the store. This is where they keep the laminating sheets, and they're out, so you can get a pack of 48 duct tape and tape a layer over your documents. It'll work just as well. Here you go. I couldn't sworn it was aisle 5. I guess it's actually aisle 25. We'll have to go back. Oh, silly me, it was aisle 6. Back we go. You know what, they're out. My mistake, it's actually aisle 18. We did this for almost 45 minutes, longer than I thought I could pull it off. There's no cell reception in the store, and almost no clocks to keep people shopping longer, so it wasn't until we walked past customer service and she saw their desk clock that she realised how long this had been going on. She was pissed. She stormed past 8 people waiting in the customer service queue to file a complaint about me eating my lunch with my boyfriend and then wasting her time. I knew the customer service guy not super well, but we'd met. He listened patiently to her side of the story, then came over to me separately and asked what happened. I broke down, I was so upset. I said I was having lunch with my boyfriend, and she saw me leaving the back room and said if I didn't help her buy the things on her list, she'd get him fired. And I had no idea it was against the rules, and he didn't either. I swear, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to waste her time, this story's just so big, and she didn't give me a choice. She said I had to help her and... I'm crying by then, and the customer service guy goes, Whoa, slow down. People have lunch back there all the time, it's not a problem. I'll give her a coupon and she'll unclench, just go home. So I lingered just to be sure the customer service guy didn't get into any trouble defending me, because on the hierarchy, he was basically the same level as my boyfriend, so we'd be vulnerable if Karen escalated. CSG, customer service guy. CSG. Mom, if you'd just join the line and I will resolve this issue to your satisfaction. Karen. Are you blimmin' kidding me? I just missed my appointment because of that backroom bimbo, and you're telling me to what? Wait, what? Where, what? Where is your manager? CSG: I can call my direct supervisor, mum, but you'll have to wait for him at the back of the line. These other customers have been here, and once I serve them, I'll help you right away. Karen: I want to talk to him now. CSG: He isn't back there at the moment. He's attending to business elsewhere in the store, but I've notified him that he's needed at his desk and he'll be here to assist you at his earliest convenience. Karen: Don't try to play me dumb, he's back there. I can tell he's back there. CSG: If he were here, you'd see him. Back here is just behind the desk. Further back, all we have back there is a fax machine and file cabinet, I assure you. There are no offices or anywhere anyone would be staked out to avoid you. Now excuse me, I need to help this customer. Karen keeps trying to get his attention, and he keeps helping someone who's returning a cartload full of stuff. Finally, Karen tries to launch herself over the counter, but does not have the agility to make it over, and just kind of bounced a couple of inches off the ground. Security came over at this point and asked her to either join the queue, shop or go home. She stalked off with a security officer way less understanding than CSG to try and sell her tale of woe. I took that opportunity to go home. My boyfriend had to go directly to his second job, but I can't wait to laugh about this with him later. Well guys, I don't think you can get more Karen than the woman in that story, jeez. Well, that's it guys for today's video. I hope you did enjoy. Please leave a like, rating down below and leave a comment. I like talking to you guys. I'll see you all in the next video.